I love being on tour. Like it is I told someone the other day, it's a very addictive and seductive sort of lifestyle. But it's also, I've said this before, it's also, I don't think it's real life.
Sometimes I need to breathe, I need to move, I need acres of elbow room, somewhere where my mind can unravel out, where the dotted lines turn to gravel.
So I wasn't born in Alberta, I wasn't born in Canada, I was born in Jersey in the Channel Islands, UK. And we lived in a place called Milady Farm. And my parents, they applied to immigrate to either Canada or New Zealand. And we moved to Southampton, England, which is roughly where my dad was from, for about, I think it was about a year, so that my dad could get papers together so that we could go somewhere. And the Canadian papers came through first, and my dad came over. My dad got a job with Atco as a carpenter, and he came over about 6 months before we did, and then all of our family got on a plane. My mom, my older sister, me, and my younger brother, and we came to Calgary. And I lived in Calgary until '92. And then I came down to Lethbridge to do a degree at the University of Lethbridge, and I graduated in '96. And then I began teaching on the Blood Reserve. I taught grade 9, social studies, language arts mostly, but a few things that I knew nothing about. I taught a photography course once, knowing nothing about photography. So that was an interesting one. And then eventually it ended up sort of, I knew that I wanted at some point to write songs or sing songs. I wasn't quite sure, it was cloudy, and eventually quit teaching and sort of morphed into starting to perform, and that's what I've been doing now for 17, 18 years.
Well, how we ever gonna make it when the going gets tough?
But I ended up buying a guitar sort of one day. I bought a guitar here in Lethbridge, and then I went down to the mall, and for 99 cents I bought a photocopied sheet of chords and went home and just tried to figure it out, and yeah, just tried to learn 3 chords and some lyrics and some cover songs. That's kind of how that started.
Well, I was born to the sound of waves crashing. You were born to the sound of the coyote.
I remember I sort of made myself a little promise that I was going to sit in the basement suite that we were renting, and I was going to learn how to play the guitar, and I was going to try and write 10 songs. And if I was successful in that goal, then I would take some money and I would make a demo recording, which I did over on the west side of Lethbridge, and then I was going to take that demo recording and I was going to apply for a grant with the Alberta Foundation for the Arts, because people were talking about, you know, AFA, there's grant money out there. And that's exactly what I did. I spent 10 months in my basement, learned to play the guitar as best I could, wrote the best songs I could at the time, made the demo, applied for the grant, and ended up going to a place up in Edmonton called Homestead Recorders, and made my first record. You know, I always say when a singer, because I consider myself a singer first more than anything else, but when a singer hears themselves, you know, through those headphones and it sounds all warm and rich, it's, you know, it's like crack for a singer. It just sounds so good. It's addictive. And yeah. And I remember thinking at the time, listening back to that record, I don't admit this to very many people, and now I'm going to admit it on camera. I remember listening back to that record going, this may be the best record that's ever been made in history. Like, I loved it so much.
Most Friday nights, you'll find me here, watching the highlights, drinking beer. There was a time I would race to get home, past lives and ex-wives ago. past lives and ex-wives ago.
You know, when I first started playing, I thought to myself, I just want to be a working musician. You know, if I can say that I can pay my rent at the time, my mortgage now, my bills, you know, food, all that stuff, that's to me successful. To do something I love and make a living at it. And that is still the goal. That's still the main goal. But yeah, I think as we get better at things, or even something, you know, if we reach a goal, then we set the next one a little bit higher, and no, there's still things I want to do. I've often said I want to lie on my deathbed and think to myself, you know, wow, yeah, I wrote a handful of songs I'm really proud of. Like that's my goal. Is I want to be a good songwriter, and I'm still trying to achieve that. You know, I feel like I've written some songs that are good songs, but yeah, the goal is always to write a better song.
You were born to the sound of the coyote. My mama said, boy, don't you ever go falling.
Part of what I was saying before, part of trying to write a great song or trying to write better songs is trying to connect with people, and so that what you're writing about makes sense and maybe impacts people. You know, I was saying the other day to somebody that for the last 18 years, really all I've been doing is trying to figure out the right words and how they fit in the right order, so that when people hear something, so when people hear them, they feel something. That's it. That's really, that's it in a nutshell. That's what I do. Wrangle the words so that when people hear them, they go, whoa, or wow, or put a smile on their face, or you know, it pulls at their heartstrings or something like that. That's what I'm attempting to do.
But the brightest light is one we can't see. It's the light dreams are made of. Oh, let it shine on.